In the last decade, something fundamental changed in the US housing market, and most people still don't fully understand it. Buying a home used to be a competition between families, people saving money, applying for mortgages, trying to build ownership. Today, that dynamic is changing, because now you're not just competing with other buyers, you're competing with institutions. Companies like BlackRock, Vanguard, and large real estate funds have entered the housing market at scale. This shift began after the 2008 financial crisis, when millions of homes lost value and institutional investors stepped in. By the early 2000s, large firms began buying homes in bulk. Not one property, not 10, hundreds at a time. In many cases, institutional buyers are paying above asking price, often in cash, closing deals in days instead of weeks. This speed gives them a major advantage because sellers prefer certainty over waiting. In some US markets, institutional buyers purchased over 20% of available homes. In cities like Atlanta, Phoenix, and parts of Texas, large investors built massive portfolios of single-family homes. But they're not flipping these homes. They're holding them, turning them into long-term rental assets. These companies use data, analytics, and algorithms to identify opportunities before the average buyer even notices them. Some of these firms manage tens of thousands of homes across multiple cities and states. What makes this shift more significant is not just the scale, but the structure behind it. These companies are not just buying properties, they are building systems around them. They centralize management, standardize pricing, and optimize rental income across entire portfolios. This turns housing into something closer to a financial product, rather than just a place to live. And once that happens, the priorities of the market begin to change, because when housing becomes an investment at scale, decisions are no longer based on individual needs, but on performance, returns, and long-term yield. This means that pricing, availability, and even access start to follow financial logic instead of social need. Over time, this creates a compounding effect. As more properties are acquired, fewer remain available for individual buyers. This increases competition, raises prices, and pushes more people into renting instead of owning. And the more this cycle repeats, the harder it becomes to reverse. This changes how the housing market behaves, because when large entities control inventory, they gain influence over prices. If they enter a market aggressively, home prices rise faster, which makes it harder for individual buyers to compete. Because institutions have advantages individuals don't. More capital, better financing, faster execution. They can outbid, outscale, and outlast. For new buyers, especially first-time buyers, this creates a higher barrier to entry. They face higher prices, more competition, and fewer opportunities to secure property. While institutions continue expanding, individual access continues shrinking, and this connects directly to how wealth is built. For decades, home ownership has been one of the most consistent ways to accumulate long-term value. It provides stability, equity, and financial leverage over time. So when access to ownership decreases, the ability to build wealth becomes more limited for a larger portion of the population. In certain neighborhoods, This level of ownership can reshape entire local markets, affecting prices, rent, and availability. Over time, this reduces access to ownership, especially for first-time buyers. And when fewer people own assets, long-term wealth becomes harder to build. This is not just a change in housing, it's a change in who gets to build wealth and who gets left out of the system. Over time, this creates a structural shift. More people rent, fewer people own homes, and that matters more than it seems, because home ownership has historically been one of the main ways to build wealth. If access to ownership declines, wealth becomes more concentrated. This is not just a housing shift, it's a shift in who builds wealth. So the housing market is no longer just about homes, it's about ownership, access, and control. And understanding that changes how you see the entire system.